What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Welcome back to another special transfer view. And I am here, which can only mean one thing. We do have some breaking news.
Breaking news.
We haven't pressed it for a while. We haven't pressed it for a while, have we? Still need my papers. We have some breaking news when it comes to the Manchester United future of Wan-Bissaka, or rather the lack thereof, because it's being reported in the last few minutes at the time of recording this video that Wan-Bissaka has now agreed personal terms with West Ham, which is a significant development, as it was only reported just a few days ago from David Ornstein that Wan-Bissaka had rejected West Ham in favour of possibly hoping for a move to Inter Milan. Well, that's all changed, because in that period of time, a West Ham move for Mazraoui from Bayern Munich that collapsed. West Ham going back in for Wan-Bissaka. They've now agreed personal terms with the right back. It's just a case about the fee. And once the Wan-Bissaka departure from Manchester United is confirmed, then Noussair Mazraoui will be on his way to Old Trafford, with even reports at the time of recording this video suggesting that he has been informed by Manchester United this deal is going to happen. We've got a bit of an update as well on Scott McTominay. Another bid coming in from Fulham, expected to be rejected, but getting ever so much closer to the magic number that Manchester United are looking for when it comes to the Scottish international. So let's get straight into this Wan-Bissaka news here. Let's get straight into the latest developments. As I mentioned, coming from Florian Plettenberg, who has reported in the last few minutes, an exclusive. West Ham have now reached a verbal agreement with Wan-Bissaka. Personal terms have been agreed. The 26-year-old right back can sign a contract until 2029. Of course, that being a 5-year deal with West Ham. But critically, no agreement with Manchester United yet. West Ham have made an opening offer of £10 million. Manchester United demand up to £18 million at this stage. Negotiations are ongoing. Now, to be honest with you, Manchester United are right, I think, anyway, to be like 10 million quid. I mean, I know he's got a year left in his contract. I know we're desperate, and I know there's other things we need to do and other positions we really need to be focusing on. My goodness me, with the injury to Lena Yoro, we need to be focusing on Matthijs de Ligt. We need to be focusing on that second centre-back signing. We need to be focusing on the midfield signing, Manuel Ugarte, maybe someone else. We'll talk about that in just a second. I'm still looking at left back. I know Harry Mas is impressing in pre-season, but we need more support on that left-hand side, that just cursed position that is the left-back spot. So there's still a lot to do. So this right-back transfer, this right-back departure for Wan-Bissaka, Mazraoui coming in, does feel somewhat secondary, and you kind of just want to get it completed and out of the way as soon as possible. But this is a development. This is a development, as I mentioned, because we had just been told not so long ago that maybe Wan-Bissaka wasn't totally keen on this move, that he wanted to go to Inter Milan instead. So the fact that he has agreed personal terms, he's got this contract offer on the table, he's happy to take it from West Ham, then we've only got one more step left, which is agreeing this fee. Now, 10 million, as I mentioned, I think is way too short, even with a player left, with a year left in his contract. If Man United could get closer to £18 million total package, I'd be very happy with that. I would. I'm not expecting big fees for Wan-Bissaka. I know we signed him, what was it? Was it 50 million? The original Wan-Bissaka fee to Manchester United. Bear in mind, this is 5 years ago that we signed him, £50 million, as I mentioned. So we're never going to make a profit on Wan-Bissaka. So I think people that bring up those arguments is maybe a bit of bad faith of, oh, we signed him for 50 and we're going to sell him for 18. Well, yeah, yeah, that is the case. He's got a year left in his contract. And I know, obviously, when it comes to Wan-Bissaka's departure in general, there are some that are for it. There are some that are quite staunchly against it, suggesting that they have concerns about the replacement, concerns about Mazraoui and his injury record, which, to be honest, the injury record, I think, of the players that we're signing is kind of irrelevant at this stage, because even if you've got a player that hasn't had that bad of an injury record, they still come in and they still they still get injured regardless. So with the Mazraoui one, let's just work with the theory that any player we sign, we're going to get injured at the moment, because that's the curse that we have on us. If Manchester United, though, steering back to this Wan-Bissaka one, can get a total package that's around £80 million, I'd be happy with that. Maybe that's sort of 12, sort of £5 million-ish in add-ons, or maybe £15 million, £3 million in add-ons. I think that would be pretty acceptable, given he's got a year left in his contract. And according to Santi Wuna, as I said at the time of recording this, Manchester United are now, because Wan-Bissaka has given the green light of I'm happy to move to West Ham and this deal was going to be reached. I mean, I'd be really surprised at this stage if this whole thing fell apart and both sides don't come to a middle ground that they're happy with. This deal looks like it's going to happen, and the moment, which is the case for a lot of these transfers by the way now, the moment that the outgoing is confirmed is the moment that the incoming is going to be confirmed as well. So Wan-Bissaka on his way out. Now Manchester United go to Mazraoui. We've already agreed personal terms with you. We don't think it's going to be too much of a problem when it comes to the fee with Bayern Munich. Let's get this deal done. We can do it quickly. And I have seen, again, this kind of freak out once more with United fans over the last sort of 48 hours. Obviously spurred on with the injuries to Lenny Yoro and Rasmus Højlund. And I get that. I totally get that. But 2 weeks ago, we're praising Manchester United. We're praising Ineos, saying that they're winning the window and they're doing fantastic work and they're moving so quickly. 2 weeks they haven't signed anyone and we're freaking out again. We need to collectively take a breath. We need to collectively, in my opinion, realise the context of the situation that we are in, which is we have to sell to buy. Historically, we're not good at selling. Due to the sins of the past, a lot of these deals are difficult to do. It's difficult to move these players on. The only players we can really move on at the moment are these players that have got like a year left on their contract or they're very low wage. In the case of Wan-Bissaka, year left on his contract, we triggered the option. Victor Lindelof, year left on his contract, we triggered the option. Scott McTominay, bit of a lower wage player. We can maybe manoeuvre that one a bit better. So we have to be realistic about the circumstances, and I still do think that those deals will get done. I think Wan-Bissaka will leave, Mazraoui will come in. I still think we sign Ugarte. The path that we get to doing it, we'll talk about in just a second with McTominay. It does get this feeling that one is probably going to happen. And there still might be this other exit that we're still not certain about. Maybe it is Jadon Sancho. Maybe it is someone else that we haven't really considered all that much yet. But the Wan-Bissaka one looks indeed like this one is going to happen, and that would be Mazraoui coming in very shortly. Just a bit of an update on Scott McTominay. We had heard that Fulham were preparing this new bid that was coming in. Samuel Lucas reporting this morning from the Manchester Evening News that Fulham have submitted a third bid of £23 million for Scott McTominay. Manchester United are open to bids between £25 and £30 million. This was also echoed by Fabrizio Romano, saying Fulham have submitted a new bid for Scott McTominay in excess of £20 million. It is expected to be rejected. Now, he is saying that Man United would be open to selling for a fee close to 30, which I suppose could be sort of £25 million plus add-ons. Now, obviously, if a deal can be reached with Fulham, that would open the door for Manuel Ugarte for this deal to happen. Critically, the terms of this deal could be about to change because L'Équipe, obviously French-based outlaw, suggesting PSG are now willing to accept a paid loan offer for Manchester United target Manuel Ugarte with a lucrative buy option included. So maybe a bit similar to the Sofiane Amrabat deal last season when we pay a bit of money up front as a loan fee. There is an option, maybe not mandatory or anything like that, but an option to buy dependent on how the season goes. As far as if it was going to be a permanent deal, well, according to reports from Sky Sports, the suggestion is that PSG do not want to sell Manuel Ugarte for less than £58.9 million, 70 million euros. Their aim is to make a profit on what they paid for Ugarte when they signed him last summer for a reported 60 million euros. This McTominay one's really interesting because whilst I do expect this bid to be rejected, that's not a million miles off in terms of the evaluation. Now, I know it's the third bid they're saying that's come in. There was some reporting that suggested that Fulham were probably going to go in once again. And I think if Fulham, I mean, if they put £23 million down, we don't know the structure of the deal. We don't know how much of it's up front. It kind of is somewhat redundant if the whole package is there and it's 23 million. If Man United are looking for between 25 and 30, it's not a million miles off, and it'll be interesting to see what happens if Fulham do put down a bid that's around £25 million, or if Manchester United look at that and go 25, let's sort out some add-ons as we get closer to 30, because they're not a million miles off on that. And I think that around that ballpark, 25-30 million quid, with McTominay, as I mentioned, a year less on his contract. We knew that West Ham were interested in him last year. I think you take that. If you can get a £30 million package for McTominay or 25 plus add-ons to make it 30, I think that's pure profit. I think that's nearer the number that Man United are looking for. And then, once again, you can go, right, we can look at Ugarte. I don't think we're going to sign him permanently this summer with the prices that PSG are allegedly quoting. But a loan deal, let's say it's 5-8 million quid up front, something like that. And then there could possibly be a buy option if all goes well. That seems like pretty good business to me. Plus then, you might have some money left over. You can then continue to look at, okay, a left back, let's have a look at that left back position. Or a little bit of that extra money can go into getting the centre back. Let's say we can get rid of Victor Lindelof. Not going to be a huge amount of money. It might be like 8 million quid, something like that. Might be super low. But with the money that's left over from the McTominay deal, you could possibly do that deal with Bayern Munich to bring in Matthijs de Ligt. So things are starting to move. Things are starting to trickle on, which if you've watched any of the shows I've done this week, that was kind of my expectation. I still do think we sign a centre-back, we sign a right-back, we sign a midfielder. Another left-back, I don't know about that, but I still do think we make 3 signings. I still do think we make these sales of Wan-Bissaka, of Lindelof, probably McTominay you're looking here. And I know that things are happening a bit slower than people would like, but I would also urge a bit of a collective breath. I know the season's on the horizon, 16 days away. It's the 1st of August, and people are looking towards that Community Shield match and what have you. And I get it, but I think you also then have to look at the market, and we're not an outlier in this market. We were a couple of weeks ago when we were moving so quickly, but in terms of the market in general, it's slow. It's slow. FFP and PSR issues are affecting a lot of clubs. Pretty much most teams that I can think of are in a position where it's sell to buy. And some of those deals are difficult to do, depending on who they are, how much it's going to be for, etc., etc. But you're just waiting for the first domino to fall. Once the first domino falls, then the rest could start to fall quite quickly. So in the case of Wan-Bissaka, that domino falls, Mazraoui comes in. McTominay, then Ugarte. Then you're looking at Lindelof, de Ligt, all of those ones, they're teetering. They're teetering. You just don't know which way they're going to fall. Are they going to go or are they going to stay? What's going to happen? But things are developing. Things are indeed happening. I sound like that Barcelona journalist, don't I? Apologies for that. But there you go. Bit of a transfer update. Of course, we get any more details. We get any here we goes. We get any more developments when it comes to personal terms, transfer fees, or anything like that. We shall be all over it here. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Stay tuned because more content will be on the horizon. And I'll speak for you again very soon.